6 or more employees is $25,000. A W-3 is required. We heard from several of our restaurants that they have over 25 employees, so we wanted to make sure they had access to this as well. The applicants must provide with the online application a signed IRS form W-9. There actually is a link for you to be able to access that form that you would need to fill out. And then applicants with 6 or more employees must also submit a 2019 W-3 that lists those employees. So the eligible uses, again, very similar to our $30 million program: mortgage assistance, rent assistance, utility, payroll, and then supplies and inventory. The timeline for this funding, the application period, it opened at noon on Monday, and it will close October 19th at 5 p.m. The checks will begin being issued, the first round, the week of October 12th. Business surveys, so each business who receives grant funds from this program will be required to submit a business survey back to us that says how you use the money. This is actually part of our federal reporting requirements. I do feel like it's really important to say that it's not just the city of Charlotte that's looking at this program. The federal government will come down to look at this program too, and all these different application packets. So that's why I think we're probably increasing the strictness. That's the feedback we've gotten from our auditors on the documentation that's present, and really trying to make sure our business owners know that if you receive money, we really do need you to fill out that business survey. And some additional program information. We're trying to make sure the money definitely hits all of the F&B businesses in the city. And then awards, this one's a little different than the $30 million program. Awards are distributed on a first come, first serve basis. Helpful tips, we always like to go over this. So make sure if you're using an EIN or a social security number, the application itself, when you're filling that out online, and I'll give you the address of where you can access that application in just a minute, that EIN or social security number must match the W-9. So just make sure it's consistent throughout. When you're on the application itself, it says this in there, but we still find people are doing this. Do not enter your EIN or your social security number with dashes. It's no dashes. And really take the time. There's all kinds of little notes next to some of the different boxes on the application, but especially because this is first come, first serve, something like that, if it's not a complete application, if it's not done correctly, and we can't actually track your EIN because it's not a full EIN, then someone else actually could really supersede you in line as far as getting the funding. So definitely pay attention to this sheet here. All legal documents that you provide must be signed and executed. The business name and the DBA, if used, must match across any documents that you give us. And the business address also must match across any documents. You follow these rules here and fill out your application completely, you'll be in good shape. So there is an email address where you can email questions if you've got any while you're filling this out, or a phone number that you can call. Again, Foundation has staff members that will be manning both of those things. And then the web address is listed below. That is actually where you can go to locate the application itself. Just look for the Apply Now button, and it'll take you to the Foundation for the Carolinas page that actually has the application on it. So that's pretty much what I have. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can see everybody's faces, and I'm happy to receive any questions that you have.
Thank you, Holly. That was amazing. And it really, what I did was I wrote down, just in case some people have some questions, I wrote down some of the main things that you spoke about. And one of the things was make sure that you put no dashes in between the EIN or your social security number, and that you sign and execute all legal documents, and the business, you make sure you have the business address on the documents. And like you said, because it's first come, first serve, this could put you behind someone else, and the money could run out by the time that you apply. So you want to apply as quick as you can, and you want to not linger the process. And so with BBOC, we have tried to assist business owners with the process, and not legal guidance, just basically giving them assistance where we can. And that's been the biggest issue. It's been small things. missing one document or not completing a form all the way, and it has placed people at the back of the line. So you want to make sure you get it right. And that's why it's great that we did this today. And so the first person I see is Wendy. And Wendy says, I would like to know if we need to reapply for the grant if we already applied for a grant back in 8/13. The previous grant was access to capital. So Holly, you would be the perfect person to answer that question.
That is a fantastic question, Wendy. Thank you so much for asking that. No, you do not. So if there was a portion on the application where you could identify yourself as like a restaurant, bar, et cetera, or I think some fell within entertainment category as well, which I went through all of those and we located those that are those that fall into the F&B category. So if you have not received an award with access to capital, the 30 million, we will pull you over automatically into the food and beverage program. So you do not need to reapply. One thing I will say is if you have received an award from the $30 million access to capital, you are ineligible for this fund. This is truly about making sure that we infuse more capital specific to an industry that has been hit really hard. So there is no ability to receive awards from both. Oh, absolutely not. No way. No fee. This is all us. The whole point of this is us deploying capital to you to help you all during this time. There is no fee to participate in this.
Okay.
And also, what would be some common mistakes made by grant applicants?
It's really what it really would be what I put on that list of helpful tips, but I'll just go over some of them that I know. And we found these in access to capital, the $30 million fund, that, not matching, not using the social security number, like throughout your application, your W-9, like that it just matches all the way through. And that your business address like is different all the way through. Like we need it all to be consistency is key. Just whatever you use, social security number, if you use it in the application, it's got to be what you use on the W-9. Whatever address you use in the application, it's got to be what's on the W-9. It's also got to be, if we were to pull your food and beverage tax form that you submit to the county every month, it would need to be this consistent there among all the documents. That's truly what we need to do as part of this program. And then also just make sure your documents are signed. I think really pay attention to your W-9 when you upload that and make sure that you have a version that has saved your signature on it. There was some issues with that, and it wasn't that people were trying they didn't intentionally do that. They thought they had signed one with a W-9. So just make sure that W-9 is signed.
Are tea and coffee shops eligible to apply?
If you submit a Mecklenburg County food and beverage tax form that basically says this is what revenue your business has had for that month, and this is the taxes that are owed on that revenue, then you are fine. You absolutely are eligible. Anyone who submits that form.
Perfect.
I would imagine a tea or coffee establishment absolutely submits that form.
Perfect. And one more question. When will the money be distributed to those that awarded the grant?
Yes. So I want to make sure I get my date right since I've got multiple. We start, let's see, where's my timeline? Okay. Just want to make sure I told y'all the right thing. So information is key, right? Good information. Yes. October 12th is the first week we will be issuing checks. And just depending on how this review process goes, I will say that because the error rate was so high in some of the documentation that was submitted on access to capital, that $30 million fund we keep talking about, in case anybody doesn't know, that's the first program. It's sort of for all small businesses that we released. It's now closed. But it could be that the 12th is like we get like 75% of the money out on the 12th or 100%, or it could be that it ends up being only 25, 50, and then we just keep having to do an award cycle every week to 2 weeks after. So it just depends. We haven't been able to get into the applications yet, just open to review them, but look for the first series of checks to come out that week. That I can guarantee.
Perfect. And so we have a question, another question from Wendy. If there are errors on the application, will you be notified or will you be automatically denied?
So, Wendy, there will be a notification process to let you know that there are errors. But again, I want to stress, and Cathay stressed it too, which I really appreciate. We can notify you, but by the time it gets fixed, the money could be, you know what I'm saying? Like essentially,
Right.
several other people could have skipped in front of you that had correct applications. We can't like hold your spot and your money. It is first come, first serve. So that's why it's like, if you have to call the foundation because you've got a question about what you're filling out, like do it. Take the time to do that and just get the correct application in. That is literally critically important on this program.
Yes, and I would say the foundation definitely had customer service, agents that were calling and making sure, like, please, complete the application. Do you have questions here? And so they did a very thorough job of making sure you were well aware of the process. And if you have any questions, so before you hit, basically what you're saying, before you hit send, make sure everything is done perfectly. Dot your I's, cross your T's.
And call them I don't care if you call them 10 times with questions. That's what they're there for, especially on this program, because we want you to get in right the first time. In this instance, no, they're not. This program again is for-profit small businesses.
That was a good question. We had a lot of questions from that one about nonprofits. If I don't have my business registered, and I'm assuming with Mecklenburg County, but also providing services to the food and beverage industry in the city for years, can I still apply for this grant?
If you are able to produce a W-9 and you were able to produce, or we were able to check and produce if we needed to ask you for them. There may be instances where we have to ask for some follow-up documentation. That you paid the Mecklenburg County food, you submitted, the Mecklenburg County food and beverage tax form in 2019, and that you submitted it again, even if it's zero revenue, in either August or September 2020, then you can apply.
How would you be notified, by email or by mail?
Okay, yes. So it's an email that the foundation sends, and typically, so I said, what did I say? The week of the
12th, the
12th?
first, October 12th.
And so typically the emails saying that the foundation, so the city of Charlotte is the one who sends you the check, right? So that comes from us. So there are two different sort of notifications, transactions, so to speak. There's the notification to the business that, hey, you know what, congratulations, you're going to get an award. It's coming. And so that typically comes out. So what I said, the 12th is Monday. That would come out like October 9th or on October 12th is when that notification would come. Then the city, that means that everybody internally on our end is cleared. You got the business owner to get a check. And then we issue checks once a week. So the check would be issued sometime the week of October 12th, probably later in the week, and then mailed out immediately.
Does the money need to be repaid? Does this grant need to be repaid?
The only time that this money would be repaid is if and we are going through audits on the access to capital. So I like to be like super transparent about this, because we've got a city audit and then you got the federal audit coming in. So unless a business owner represented, or a person represented themselves as a business owner and they actually weren't one or didn't meet the criteria they said they met, then we're going to need that money back. But other than that, this is a grant. So as long as you are saying you're representing yourself, and nothing will be found in an audit, which shouldn't be hard to do, I don't think, for anybody on this
Absolutely.
This webinar at all.
Right. And so we had some great questions, and Holly did a great job answering those questions. And so, like Holly stated, call Foundation for Carolinas if you have any questions. You can go ahead and apply now. And Holly, if you want to pull that up and show them how to go and apply for that grant, that would be great.
So there you go, everybody. This is the email address for all of your fabulous questions. If you want to email, I personally always call because I think information I can process it better. So call that number. There will be somebody there to help you. And then the address where the application is located is listed there. What I'm going to say is make sure you scroll down to where it says something like apply now. There's a button. That's how you access the actual application itself.